All right. So when I put this presentation together, myself and my team were kind of the caboose on the transplant process. We're the last stop before these organs get transplanted. And so, the donor's gone to the OR. It's probably not something that the hospital staff thinks about. You guys probably don't think about me very often, but I am here to tell you that I think about you every day. So, like was mentioned, I'm the manager of organ utilization, and my team's role is to allocate kidneys and then some livers and some lungs for transplant. So I am just going to talk a little bit more. Sorry, this is going to take a lot of brain power to advance both these slides. I'm going to talk a little bit about utilization and then just show some data about what Melissa had talked about on how, when we meet the bundle with these DMGs, we really can place more organs for transplant and save more lives. So the practice of organ utilization, it's actually fairly new in the OPO world. I don't know, maybe 7-8 years, there have been departments being formed at OPOs to help improve organ utilization and increase transplant. And so our goal is just to, the practice of using organs from deceased donors. We want to use them practically and effectively. And we just want to reduce the underutilization, increase the underutilization of these less than ideal organs. They get named a lot of things like medically complex or what's another good one? I don't know. They get some names, these organs, but they're actually being used. And so we're trying to get away from giving them these names like less than great, because they are great and they are getting used. And they are getting used even more when we are meeting these DMG bundles in the hospitals. So I think you guys have seen these statistics already, but just to share, we have roughly, I pulled these numbers 2 weeks ago. So as of 2 weeks ago, we had 103,959,000 people in the United States on the wait list for an organ. Roughly 8 people are added to the wait list every single day. And roughly 16 people in the United States die every day on the wait list waiting for an organ. And so, getting these organs utilized is incredibly important. We have the organs. We have the opportunity to transplant these patients, and we just need to find the means, essentially. Melissa talked a little bit about a study that was done to see if meeting these DMGs actually does increase organ utilization. So, does the donor hospital phase, those first 2 phases in the DMGs, impact the number of organs available for transplantation? And I'm just going to give the answer away up top. Yes, it does. So we're going to talk about how. Okay. So this is the study that was done. The study looked at almost 1,400. It's called standard criteria donors. It's just a fancy way to say brain dead donors. And DMGs were measured at the 2 hospital phase points, so at referral and allocation. And a positive bundle status change, that means that the number of DMGs met went up between referral and allocation. That's a positive bundle status change. They looked to see if there was a positive status bundle change, do we have more organs transplanted? And the primary outcome measures showed that if that positive bundle status change happened, we were able to recover and transplant 4 or more organs per donor, which is a lot. It's a lot. That's a really good number. So I'm just going to show you a couple quick graphs. These are a little bit busy, so we won't hover here for long. But these are the results from the study. So in the graph on your left, this breaks out the DMGs specifically, and then the blue line shows the percentage of the time that the DMGs were met at referral, and the orange shows the percentage of the time the DMGs were met at start of case. And so Melissa kind of talked, there's some nuance that comes into this. If there's not an indication for a central line, then we aren't going to have a CVP. So you can see CVP is one of our lowest our lowest DMGs met. And it's, you know, we don't want to ask hospitals to provide treatment that isn't necessary. You know, we don't want unnecessary procedures in any kind of way. And so, you know, we know that CBP is difficult to get. Same with EF. You know, if there's no indication for an echo, then why would you do one? You know, and so we understand that. Things like MAP, those are things we're going to want, right? You guys want a good MAP. We want a good MAP. And so those are our DMGs that we can take a look at a little more closely. Sodiums, glucose, urine output, pressors at referral and start of case are kind of what they are, right? We need the donor to survive. So if they're requiring high dose pressors at the beginning of the case, then, you know, that just is what it is. But if we can wean them off the pressors before we start allocating, that's really a great goal. Programs that are looking at taking a heart for transplant, they do not want that heart on high dose pressors because it's a really good indication that it's not functioning well, right? And so, you know, when we can try and, you know, wean those pressors down or, you know, improve the glucose or the sodium, things like that, those are some DMGs that we can really focus on that make a big impact. The graph on the right shows just when the bundle is met and, you know, the percentage of the time the bundle is met and not met for referral and start of case. So the bundle is met from this study. The bundle was met just, I don't know, what do we want to say, 14% of the time based on that graph. And then the bundle was met at start of case about 20% of the time. And then I think this is the most impactful graph. So this is not the study. These are Donor Connect numbers. I pulled these a couple weeks ago. This is showing 2022 and 2023, and I just compared when the bundle was met, compared to when the bundle is not met across all 4 points. So at referral, start of case, those are our hospital phases, allocation, and prior to OR, those are collaboration with the OPO, and then it's showing how many organs were transplanted per donor. So when the bundle is met at referral, we are transplanting somewhere around 3.5 organs per donor. It takes a little dip at start of case, but then you can see it climbs back up. So when we're meeting the bundle at allocation and prior to OR, we're getting closer back up to that 3.5 organs transplanted per donor. And I did not discern between brain dead and DCD donors in this graph. I looked at all of our donors. And so just historically, DCD donors don't have as high of a yield. We don't recover thoracics on DCD donors as often as we do on brain dead donors. And so that's why you're not seeing that number up, you know, in the 4 region like it is in the study, because they were looking at just brain dead donors. But I just think that this is really solid proof that, you know, when those DMGs are met, we're able to save more lives. So in conclusion, this feels like a lot of this. I spent a lot of time working in the ICU. These are a lot of metrics to meet. Now you've got an added entity right now, Donor Connects in your ICU, and we're talking to you, and it's a lot of juggling. It can feel like a lot. And so I just want to take a step away from the numbers and the data, just to remind this group that I live in the data. It's all I do all day long is look at the charts and the graphs. And so, you know, seeing the video about the monument and hearing from our donor families really reminds me why I do what I do. And I just want to kind of tie it back together that yes, we're talking about organs transplanted per donor, but we're also talking about people. So this is Raquel. Raquel was a donor. She lived in Las Vegas. You know, and when we have these conversations and improve our practices, it helps people like Raquel save the lives. Sorry, this one gets me. Sorry, save the lives of Ashley. Ashley is Raquel's heart recipient. And Ashley has gone on to have a little baby girl who she named Jane Raquel Stewart. So, yep. So while it is a lot of numbers and it is a lot of data, it's also people like Raquel and Ashley and Jane. Any questions? Okay, thank you.